right here is just one more thing for the left to get triggered about.
Former president, rather than publicity for McDonald's. You know, this is a huge chain across the nation, across the world. So publicity there, I don't think a big concern for them. But for the Trump campaign, this was all about the clicks. This was all about the photo ops. He did serve people in the drive-thru there. Now, as for if this drew people there, we did see large crowds outside of the McDonald's awaiting Trump. That's something that we see at a lot of his retail stops, that they prep these large crowds and make sure people in the area are aware that he's going to be there. But the main focus, as you said, was to hit Harris on his claims that Harris didn't work at McDonald's. Let's listen.
I love McDonald's. I love jobs. I like to see good jobs. And I think it's inappropriate when somebody puts down all over the place that she worked at McDonald's. It was a big part of her resume that she worked at McDonald's, how tough a job it was. She specifically worked at the French fry, where they make the French fries, and she talked about the heat. It was so tough. She never worked at McDonald's. McDonald's just confirmed that again, by the way. She never worked at McDonald's.
These people really and truly have no self-awareness. I mean, these people are talking about this situation with McDonald's being staged when obviously it would in fact be staged. I'll get into that in a second. Of course, it was obviously hilarious, and it was obviously a great bit that he did, and it was just another example of Donald Trump owning the media by owning the news cycle. But speaking of the word staged, you guys are seeing what I'm showing you guys in the B-roll footage. I mean, you got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez staging a photo down at the border, Tim Walz staging his. I mean, these people don't really have much self-awareness, okay? They really and truly don't. Or maybe they do have self-awareness and they know that the mainstream media is going to cover them. The fact of the matter is that these people here should not be speaking about staged events. Okay, guys, before we talk directly about Donald Trump's masterful troll, which was McDonald's, or working at McDonald's for roughly 15 minutes, which I really think it may have been closer to an hour if you actually look at the overall process of filming and everything, and why it is that the mainstream media is let's just say that most of the media, not all of the media, is obviously triggered by this. And there's also this segment from Piers Morgan Uncensored that I'm going to be reacting to a little bit later on today, because I found it to be absolutely hilarious, because it also shows you who these people really and truly are. I do need to go ahead and kind of apologize for not getting content out earlier. Yesterday, I was at the Trump rally here in the area that I live at. I'm showing you guys some stuff from the B-roll footage, just some photos. As you guys can obviously tell, these are crappy photos, crappy videos, because obviously I was up high in the arena that we were in. Got there early, had to wait about 4 or 5 hours before the man took stage, but obviously it was packed. It was a massive crowd outside, and of course they had to file people in by where they were at in the line, and of course I ended up pretty high up in the air. Took my mom with me, and of course we had to sit there, but it was actually a good thing because she has to sit in a very, very soft spot. She's got a bad back, and of course it ended up working out rather than her actually standing like the last Trump rally I went to back in 2016. Still, though, at the same time, though, I wasn't able to get this content out, but of course we are back and we are getting to work on this. So what was the point behind Donald Trump's McDonald's visit? Well, it was obviously a troll. It was a troll because obviously there's this question out there whether Kamala Harris actually worked at McDonald's. And of course, she's not provided any actual proof of that, which in modern days really and truly wouldn't matter. But of course, this entire thing could have been completely avoided if she would just come on out and say, yes, I worked at McDonald's, and actually provided proof that she worked at McDonald's. But of course, there's like no witness, nobody she ever served, nobody that during that summer she claims she worked there can actually corroborate it. So yeah, she's getting made fun of for it, which is really what this is nothing more than just a good old-fashioned troll. Donald Trump is probably the greatest troll that we've ever had, not just as president, but probably the greatest troll ever. All you got to do is go back to his days when he was doing bits like Trump Chicken Wings on Saturday Night Live or Green Acres at the MTV Movie Awards. Yeah, the guy is a masterful troll, and this right here is what he is doing, especially given the fact that the memes from this entire situation have absolutely been legendary. But still, how in the world is the media trying to spin this? Well, let's start with CBS.
Former President Donald Trump put on an apron today to pull off a political stunt in Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
You want to give it a try? I do.
working the fryer to try and claim without any evidence that Vice President Kamala Harris didn't work at a McDonald's while in college, as she said she did.
She never worked at McDonald's.
At a rally in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, near Pittsburgh Saturday, Trump issued some of his harshest insults of Harris yet.
You're a vice president. The worst. You're the worst vice president.
Well, duh. Of course it was going to be a stunt. Of course it was going to be that. People online, people on the left are going crazy, screaming this was nothing more than a stage campaign stunt. And I'm looking at them and saying, did you guys not see this guy take a bullet earlier this year in the ear? Did you guys also not see that this guy had another attempt on his life down at his home in Mar-a-Lago? Did you guys not remember that? Of course, the Secret Service is going to screen people. Of course, they're going to pre-screen people. Of course, they're going to ensure that only certain people can go through there. Of course, they're going to ensure that people are maybe less likely to commit a crime or try to attempt something on the life. This was basically just a troll. That's what the hell this is. But once again, though, this is also a strong indicator of exactly how far these people have gone. You'll definitely see that in video number 2 of the day, because there's a segment we've got to react to from Piers Morgan Uncensored that was absolutely wild. We've also got another segment to react to later on this week from that same exact show, so make sure you guys stick around. Probably going to do a little bit more Piers videos than normal. Still, though, that's what the hell this was, and it's pretty obvious that this entire thing was a stunt, as J.D. Vance, his own VP, would in fact explain, because Donald Trump is like this. He's just trying to relate to the common man. And of course, he does it by working at a small starter job like McDonald's, which, by the way, will bring up another point. But of course, let's let J.D. cook.
And the fact that these people are accusing him of a stage-managed thing, of course the president has to have security, because there have been 2 attempts on his life in the last 8 weeks. He can't just walk into a McDonald's and sign a W-9 and actually go on the payroll. That's just not how this works, especially given the security threats on his life. But look, he was interacting with people. He was talking to the employees. He was giving people food. And he was just being, I think, what he does best, which is just being among the people, talking to them about what they care about. He showed, I think, genuine interest in the employees and their lives and where they came from and what they were actually doing in their job. And that's something you can't stage and you can't fake. That is just the genuine person that Donald Trump is. And it's why I think a lot of working people, even though, of course, he's a successful real estate billionaire, have this emotional connection to Donald Trump. You can't make up that kind of connection. Unfortunately, Kamala Harris has tried and failed. And I think it's why her campaign is flailing a little bit right now, is because she goes into Sheets and does 4 takes of her buying Doritos. Donald Trump just goes into McDonald's and he is who he is, and people love him.
But of course, this right here won't stop morons like Tizzy Innit, another one of those online leftists who, quite frankly, doesn't know his butt from a hole in the ground, to run his mouth about the situation.
So stupid, I almost don't want to talk about it. But then I remember there are people who fall for this shit. So I have to. Donald Trump worked at a McDonald's this weekend. Did he do it to understand what people who make minimum wage do? No. Did he do it because he wanted to be in touch with the working class American, the average Joe? No, he did it to own Kamala Harris. Because Kamala Harris at some point said she worked at a McDonald's, and then Donald Trump said, "That's not true. I spoke to McDonald's. I called Ronald myself. He said, I don't know her."
Izzy, man, don't be such a McAsshole, man. Seriously. That was the point, you moron. That was the point, was to own her. However, that clip will be coming back up in video number 2, so we'll definitely be re-examining that clip once again in a little bit more detail, because it obviously shows you the much, much larger problem with leftists. However, News Nation, on the other hand, they had a pretty interesting segment. They actually had a couple of very interesting segments, and even one of the Democrats who's supposed to be supporting Kamala Harris basically told you exactly what this was.
Move, and he had fun doing it, and clearly the people loved it, Natasha.
Josh, do you agree? A brilliant strategic move, because meanwhile, we do see Trump saying Harris never worked there, the Harris campaign having to defend that. What do you make of this back and forth?
I agree. I do. And if Democrats can't be honest, even when we may detest our opponent, then it's going to be counterproductive for us as a party. It was genius. He took what is such an infinitesimal attack that she never worked at McDonald's. It wouldn't even make the radar in a senior class president campaign, let alone a presidential campaign. And he turns it into another news cycle that he dominates. And quite frankly, it shows his ability to do retail. And I think it should spur the Harris campaign in these last 16 days to do alternative media, to take back, really the narrative and to do shows like Joe Rogan, to do a chicken shop date and utilizing that alternative media, because if Trump continues to dominate the media dialogue for the next 16 days, it's not going to be good for us on election.
Also, this one guy who put up on Twitter that Donald Trump gave him 7 McNuggets instead of 6. I'm just saying that this little deal was probably one of the best stunts I think we've ever seen in political history. Wham. Dominating the news cycle and dominating the news cycle ahead of election day. Look, I'm going to link some stuff in the description box for you guys to kind of like unblack pill some of you, so that way you guys are red pilled and hopefully white pilled. Republicans are actually ahead in the early vote this time around. They're actually, well, what I mean by ahead is that they're ahead of their pace from 2020 and 2016, and Democrats are down. Democrats don't like this woman. Now, does that mean that the election will be settled on election night? We'll be getting a lot of reports right now. We'll probably talk about that in the video before the election, because obviously I've got my own take about it. Just, I'm telling you now, don't be black pilled, be very, very much white pilled, because I'm very, very confident, and many others out there, a lot of good signs out there. But still, though, this right here this is exactly what the left does. They oftentimes misinterpret what the meaning behind something was, or they get mad at the meaning of what it was when they didn't exactly, look in the mirror and look at exactly what it is that they're doing wrong. What Donald Trump is doing here is simply owning the news cycle. He's owning the news cycle ahead of Election Day, so that way people see this. And of course, this also includes people who may be inclined to maybe vote for Kamala Harris. They may say, you know what, this Trump guy's going to win the election. Why the hell would I vote? This guy right here is going to win the election. The idea behind this was to give him more and more coverage, so that way people on the other side of the aisle would get anger and eventually withdraw their attention, and therefore eventually not show up and vote. You see, in order to win elections, one side of the aisle's got to turn out and the other side of the aisle's got to stay home. The side of the aisle that we're kind of hoping stays home is the left, and they tend to be the ones who will get the most wound up when they see coverage like this. So you would think that they would go out and vote, and a lot of these leftists will. However, the common normie, on the other hand, that may be inclined to vote for Harris is going to say, this guy right here is going to win. I want to stay home. Trump's base of support is obviously much, much larger, much, much bigger. So therefore, they're going to go vote because, as you guys know, we would walk over broken glass to go vote for the man. However, the lefty normie that voted in 2020 because they were anti-COVID, but yet their financial situation before COVID wasn't bad, they're looking at this situation and saying, I'm going to stay home. That's probably right around 7 to 8 million of those voters who voted for Joe Biden. That's a pretty big number of people staying home. And of course, they refuse to support Harris because she's so daggone unlikable. And Trump, of course, is looking more and more and more likable. Not to mention those who are swinging to Trump and those who are swinging back to Trump for 2016. That right there is what Donald Trump is doing. He's dominating the news cycle, and normie types who would be inclined to vote for Harris are looking at this and they're saying, what's the point in actually voting? Meanwhile, those normie types who actually would be inclined to vote for Trump, they will now go out there and support the man. That right there is the reason why he did it. But I did say that there was one person who did give him a bit of a positive, glowing review of this, or at least a positive response. And believe it or not, it was actually CNN.
Simply as a real estate mogul and a New York City tabloid fixture.
A big and tasty for just $1? How do you do it? What's your secret? Together, Grimace, we could own this town.
That right there obviously being in reference to this ad that I'm showing you guys in the B-roll footage, roughly about 30 seconds you can find on YouTube, where Trump is hugging Grimace at the end. It was for the Big and Tasty, which I think the Big and Tasty was really just the McDonald's version of the Whopper. I'm not entirely sure. I can't entirely remember. I was only about 14 years old when this happened, but still, though, it's in reference to that ad from 1999 that ran all the way through 2000. By the way, Trump also did ads for Pizza Hut, several ads for Pizza Hut, including one involving his first wife, Ivana Trump. And there was also another one that he did, I think in 2003, 2004. I can't remember what it was, but I tried to find some of these and put them inside the the B-roll footage for you guys. The fact of the matter is that Donald Trump, this is not the first time he's done this type of retail politics, just on a much, much larger scale. Which at the end of the day, once again, is exactly what this is. Whether it's real or not, whether it's scripted or staged, it's retail politics. It's something that's done to actually make you look more relatable to voters. And as I explained earlier, it obviously turns normies that would vote against him off, because now all of a sudden he looks more human, look more likable. I didn't say that there in a previous bit. But of course, it keeps them at home because they automatically think, okay, now he's going to win the presidency. What's the point in even me going to go vote? Meanwhile, right-wing normies or ones that would be inclined to actually go vote for him will say, screw it, I'm going to go vote for the guy. The guy's just too damn likable.
Oh, now Trump is stepping behind the counter at McDonald's, this time for a campaign stop in the battleground state of Pennsylvania.
I'm looking for a job, and I've always wanted to work at McDonald's, but I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So if you don't mind, I want to work the French fry counter.
So Trump there once again claiming without evidence that Kamala Harris never worked at McDonald's in the 80s. That dispute inspiring this campaign stop over the weekend. Trump, of course, no stranger to the Golden Arches, his love for fast food well documented. In 2019, Trump hosted Clemson's football team after they won the national championship and served up this spread of French fries and burgers at the White House. And during his Sunday visit to McDonald's, Trump again put on the apron. He manned the fry station. He handed out food through the drive-thru window to customers who, according to the Washington Post, were pre-screened by the Secret Service. The restaurant was closed to the public for the event.
I love salt. Wait a minute, I spilled some.
Now Trump is stepping behind the counter at McDonald's, this time for a campaign stop in the battleground state of Pennsylvania.
I'm looking for a job, and I've always wanted to work at McDonald's, but I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So if you don't mind, I want to work the French fry counter.
So Trump there once again claiming without evidence that Kamala Harris never worked at McDonald's in the 80s. That dispute inspiring this campaign stop over the weekend. Trump, of course, no stranger to the Golden Arches, his love for fast food well documented. In 2019, Trump hosted Clemson's football team after they won the national championship and served up this spread of French fries and burgers at the White House. And during his Sunday visit to McDonald's, Trump again put on the apron. He manned the fry station. He handed out food through the drive-thru window to customers who, according to the Washington Post, were pre-screened by the Secret Service. The restaurant was closed to the public for the event.
I love salt. Wait a minute, I spilled some.
Throw this right here at you guys real quick. Yesterday at the Trump rally, I never saw so many college kids at a rally, meaning as in so many college kids who actually were ready to vote for the Republican. That's a problem for the Democrats because they normally win the college kids. They normally win the college kids heavily. I don't know about you guys, but McDonald's is kind of like a starter job. That's really what it is. When I hear people scream and holler about McDonald's employees, we should get our $15 an hour. No, you shouldn't. It's a starter job. Unless you're management, you should probably get just the standardized minimum wage. Yeah, I said that, but we're going to be coming back to that in the next video. And also the trolling factor. As The Undertaker said recently on a podcast with Trump, which, by the way, airs today.
I have that. I know you got that tough guy persona and that bravado, but I think, this is good. This is fun. And I think, you know what you've done? You've made politics fun again.
Yeah.
And I just think some people get caught up in the fact that I think they look at politics now kind of like a wrestling story, and they can't separate reality.
Well, he's made politics fun again. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm a college kid and I go to the White House and I'm like 19, 20 years old, I'm a football player, I'm not really thinking about prime rib. I'm not really thinking about steak, okay? And even if I am thinking about it, if I see McDonald's quarter pounders, if I see Big Macs, I see French fries, I'm probably going to eat it because guess what? Even though McDonald's is bad for you, it's still good, all right? As a matter of fact, the minute I got out of surgery on the left side, the left carotid artery, I remember having an issue thinking about what it was that I wanted to eat because going from one spot to another, the traffic can be pretty bad. And I just remember breaking down saying, you know what, I just want a good old-fashioned McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese. I'm not supposed to eat it because of my health. I just want a McDonald's quarter pounder with cheese. It was either McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. McDonald's is an American food brand, the quintessential American fast food brand. All right, just simply saying. This right here was a smart move by Donald Trump. It was absolutely genius. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that liberals are melting down. I will talk more about why in the next video. So make sure you guys stick around for both videos today. With that right there being said, I want to go ahead and give you guys a bit of a heads up on how the content's going to go, at least over the next couple of days. There was a lot of content that was supposed to be, how do I say, non-trending, but a little bit more, how do I say, explanatory in nature. That's going to be the content that's going to be coming out over the next few days. So make sure you guys, like I said, stick around for most of it. But the thing about the content this week is, like I said before, obviously I kind of got bogged down. I got a video out on Saturday, but Sunday I was not able to get anything out. Sunday was a day where I actually recorded a couple of videos, but then deleted them because it was stupidity on my end. But then Monday, of course, came around, the Trump rally, and I was gone pretty much the entire day. I didn't get back until like 6 o'clock last night once I got done with everything. So yeah, running a little bit behind this week, but don't worry, there's going to be a lot of content out this week. So once again, please make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.